especially at Berkeley, we have a young lady that teaches, who lives here, that teaches watercolor that Pat got to join. Talk about those kind of holiday events, painting, and education.
Yes. As far as like different holiday events or painting, like I think you kind of hit on it, but Josie. So Josie is certified in OMA, is Opening Minds Through Art, and it is an amazing program that really helps our residents here who may be suffering from dementia or Alzheimer's. It helps them kind of express themselves in ways through art if they can't express themselves verbally. And from that, she is really looking at kind of expanding that into almost an arts club for the outdoor residents and for the indoor residents. So that is one thing that's really exciting going forward. Also, as far as education, we have a partnership. We kind of partner. It hasn't been that much this year with COVID, but with Miami University for their ILR classes, where basically from there we can sometimes offer different courses that are here, or we will promote different courses that they're having at different facilities across Butler County. So that is another thing that we do here, and we are really looking forward to getting our what is it called, the Yankee room for the wood. I think that we are looking at getting that back up and going as well. So there's a lot of different things as far as education and activities that coming down the pipe that's really exciting.
We have for you listening, we have a Yankee wood shop on property that has woodworking equipment. We were able to make 22 picnic tables. The men of Berkeley Square made those for River's Edge. A lot of people don't realize that, but some people were able to cut, some people were able to sand, and we were able to contribute to the community, and that really serves a lot of great things. It was such a fun summer. Wellness activities in the pool. If you were to briefly talk about that wellness word, what do you want to say, John?
As far as wellness goes, that word is really loaded because there's so many different levels as far as what we are working on to make sure that we are in a healthy state. But as far as here, we are really kind of in that phase right now where it's just exciting things to come. With the numbers going down in Butler County as far as the positivity rate, a lot of more things are going to start being able to open up for us. I don't have a definite date, but the Elements Wellness Center in the pool, it will be reopening in the near future. With the numbers going lower. So when that comes, we'll be able to kind of slowly step into opening up the gym, and then from there opening up classes for the residents. So it's really a lot of great things that we have coming. And then let's just say looking forward beyond COVID, and it's actually a regular world again. We have we have yoga, we have a class called Classic, which is a range of motion class. We have our circuit classes, which is a little bit more of a faster paced class. We have cardio drumming. Neil Jackman is an amazing cardio drummer. He came to my class once. He's impressed. Yeah, he's very impressive. So there's a lot of different activities that we have.
Coach House, happy hour with friends, family dinners. Is there maybe one or two things you want to talk about that's all part of the lifestyle?
Yes. As far as the Coach House goes, yes, the Coach House will be returning, but it's going to have a different kind of feel to it. I'm going to let Danielle kind of explain that a little bit more in the Q&A sessions. But as far as dining and everything, we actually have a food truck coming right at the middle of April. So that's really exciting. So that's one thing that we've kind of been able to do is have different food trucks. We've had to get creative. So for example, we partnered recently for one of our residents. Their church was doing a fundraiser, so we just partnered with All Laid Up, and they ordered the food. And then the whole entire activity staff, we delivered the food to all the residents outside. So that was a big success. Not to mention our fish fry that we're doing on Fridays. It's a partnership with Queen of Peace. So it's really, the pandemic has challenged us to be more creative, but it's also allowed us to start seeing the residents more face to face in those events. So, yes.
What's on the horizon for the future?
Ooh, for the future, it's just, I mean, mainly it's going to be just being able to laugh and see your friends again. That's even if it wasn't a COVID time right now, I think that we should never lose sight of the power of social interaction. And that's really what our job is, in my opinion, is just to be able to get people to see people. Even if it's through a trips and travel, if it's through exercise, if it's through a book club, no matter what it is, to be able to have somebody that you can just find some type of common interest with, just it gives your life purpose, and with purpose, it makes your life kind of feel like that next chapter is that much better.
Before we leave this slide, John, I just give so much kudos to you personally. Talk about the Santa shop during COVID and what you did.
So what we did with the Santa shop is that we took one of our fleet buses, and I took all the chairs, all the seating benches out of the bus, and we basically retrofitted it and made it into a mobile shopping center. A couple of companies, I believe Flourish and Made to Love. Sarah's House, I believe too. There were a couple of local companies that actually let us sell some of their product inside of the Santa Shop bus. And the best part about it, though, really was seeing the residents kind of go through and see different things that they were going to buy for other residents. But then you would see other residents come in and they would look at the exact same things that resident was going to buy for them. So sometimes Nancy would have to steer them to not buy that so that they wouldn't have two of the same thing. So it was amazing how different people knew other people so well. They would go, "Ooh, I think so and so would like that scarf," and then so and so comes in, they go, "Ooh, I like that scarf," and then Nancy would go, "You don't want that scarf." But so it was just really, it was fun to kind of interact with the residents that way.
I love that so very much, and it really, I think it speaks volumes to our activity team to think of something so creative. And John, driving that bus through the streets of Berkeley and allowing people afraid to shop during COVID or really being protective, a great way to get their daughter a card or an ornament. I just can't thank you enough personally to add that service for our residents, because I feel like the day comes and goes and the Santa shop is cute and the residents bought things, but let me tell you, sir, I will never forget all of you that put that on for them. It means the world on behalf of the residents that live here. So lastly, I want to ask you this, in your own words, what makes Berkley Square and Westover special?
Whenever someone asks me that question, I always say the same thing, and that is that when you do decide to kind of move into a new community, it is naturally going to be another chapter in your life. And I think, and I know that Westover and Berkley, they're going to make that chapter the best chapter it can be. One of our members who comes to Elements outside of living here, she's a community member. She came to me one day, and I never forget it. She told me that seeing the residents at both facilities gave her hope that there's life after her 70s. So her parents, she said that when her parents turned 75, they just basically said, "We're going to die." And they didn't leave the house anymore. She became their caretaker. They weren't necessarily sick, but their lack of movement made them sick. And when she came in and she would see a 95-year-old on the new step, or she would see a 92-year-old getting in her car and driving sometimes all the way to Columbus to go see a grandchild, she said, "Wow, you can keep living in your later years." And I think that is what Berkley and Westover shows that much more, is that just because you may be retired or just because it may be that other half of your life, it doesn't have to be a life that's slowing down. You can actually pick up and do more things in this juncture. So I think that that is really what Berkley and Westover does, is that it opens those doors to be able to do even more than what you thought this chapter of your life was able to do for you.
I agree. Thank you so much. So I'll kind of wrap up our discussion, my time with Pat, my time with John, and we're going to open up for some questions at the end, but I'll close with just three things. I want to share with you my experience. I have been here 11 years, and I hope what you took away from this talk is it's not about the house or the property. It's about the people. And these neighbors, I have neighbors, residential neighbors that I wave to, but let me tell you about the feel. And when John says they're on these buses buying their neighbor an ornament, and they're guiding them to a different scarf or ornament so they don't get the same one, people truly care about each other. And I know Pat can speak to that in her different, life happens. She had some issues she wouldn't mind sharing, but people are bringing casseroles. People are bringing you a card. It is a neighborly feel if you want to be part of that. That's, if I were being, somebody asked me what makes it special, it's not the building, it's not the walking path, it's not the shiny penny. It's how you feel with your neighbors and how you get to explore life. Like, it is a place to do things you didn't even know you wanted to do. You can learn more if this is your first time kind of plugging into our Zoom. We do have all of our websites, and I think Danielle's going to put those up a little bit later. All you have to do, if you're even curious about thinking about living here or asking questions, hey, I'm my neighbor, my mom, our communityfirstliving.org is a great place to start. On there, you're going to find 360 tours, all of the Zoom, the interview information, I think, is going to be there. Pat's video, her recording is going to be on there. Everyone's journey is different. I'll leave you with that. And it's my job to help you learn about Berkley Square and how that journey could be a good fit. So I thank you so much for joining. Don't hang up. I think Danielle's going to take us through however we chat and ask each other questions. I'm going to turn it over to you.
I got it. I'm in. Okay. Hi, everybody. Thank you, John. Thank you, Shelley. Thank you, Pat, so much. Thank all of you for hanging in with us in this new attempt to stay connected and share information. I did want to, I have been monitoring our chat for questions. I have not seen anything, but I do want to, I know there are a few, and unfortunately some of those I don't have definitive answers for, but some we have plans in the works. So let me address quickly, and if you have questions, feel free to put through the chat. Pat, if you want to add anything, or if anyone has questions for Pat, let us know and we'll manage that as well. So there were some questions early on about elements. Again, many of our independent living residents received some information. Some of the most exciting news I've shared in a long time in the last week is that when we dip below positivity rate, that means how many positive COVID cases there are in Butler County. When we dip below 10%, which as of this week we are at 11.5%, so we're getting very, very close. We will be able to allow small groups of residents, and we're opening to, because we can only accommodate small groups, we will be opening initially to our residents on our campus. We will be able to allow residents to come in and use our fitness facilities and our pools. And as John mentioned earlier during the presentation, we will also be working towards being able to become a membership wellness destination again when we are able to accommodate that on our campuses. So we will be excited to welcome everyone back. Again, that same communication shared the trips and travel news, which is very exciting, Nancy. I'm sure that first bus trip will be sold out quickly. And in the same document, we shared news that the Coach House will hopefully be reopening soon. A little bit of a twist there. We have actually signed an agreement with a long-time local caterer, very well known, 2 Women in a Kitchen, Kirsten Spicer, is going to assume the operations of the Coach House. She's beyond excited. She will be reopening as soon as we are able to. She's currently continuing to cater and using that kitchen for her catering, but she has a lot of plans for our dining rooms as soon as we're able to welcome people back in. And also, in the meantime, hopefully getting some outside events, patio cocktails, and some small activities together to be able to reconnect with residents and introduce residents to their teams. So that will be very exciting, and we're very much looking forward to that. If there are any other, Pat, yes, you'll need to unmute. Should be a little red microphone icon if you can hit that. Oh. Can you chat it?
I got a question. Oh, okay, Danielle, this is great about the Coach House opening. I just had a question. I've had 2 Women in a Kitchen. I had their meals when they catered, like the fitness center. I'm just wondering, mainly because if we ever open the Coach House again to the public, is this going to be like the catering food, or is it, catering, a cook and a chef are 2 different things?
Yes, they will.
Chef Chris did, and I just wondered, are we going to go, it is going to be really, I'm trying to say the difference between a cook and a chef are different. So I don't know, how are they going to work the Coach House, that aspect?
They will have a menu. They have already indicated that they would like to keep some of the favorite dishes. I mean, no one's taking away the chopped salad, right? They keep a very similar menu. They're gonna take some time to see what people like and what people respond to. They definitely have a culinary team, and they are also considering options for our previous Coach House culinary team who are in the main kitchen right now. There may be opportunities to work things together. It's still a little too early in the partnership to determine if there's interest on the staff side or and how that's going to work. But there's definitely conversations about that as well. And it is intended to be a similar type menu plan and similar events, activities, and also long term. Again, we want to accommodate our residents first on our campus. It's the benefit of being there. But the long term is when we are able to accommodate more, that we would become a destination again as well for community members.
Just one more question. Mm-hmm. Going along, because I know those of us who have gone to the Coach House loved some of the servers that were there. Can you say at this time, and you probably can't, is there any chance that any of those servers, I guess it'd be up to the 2 Women in a Kitchen, their operations, to hire them?
Yeah, it would be up to the 2 women and to the servers. Last March, I think it was March 12th, burned in my brain, when we shut down. We did offer everyone that was part of the Coach House alternate employment within the main building and structures. Our servers, most of our servers did not take that option, being part-time. It didn't make sense for them with their schedules and their calendars. So they opted to take a different path, which is great. Our entire kitchen opted to stay, and for the most part, they are still all there, down to the dishwasher. And that would be up to the new proprietor but we have had some discussions about that, and I think again this is a fairly new situation, and they're starting to just now get in there. We had to have a state inspection before we could do anything. We just passed our inspection Monday of this week, and so there was a mad rush to get through that, and now we have some more time. Actually, I'll be over there with them all day tomorrow talking about all the systems and the plans and helping things take